From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Kent's Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Well, we start again things off this evening with the satellite image here, and this is really the great high-res satellite coming off the internet. And what you'll see here, first thing that really stands out are all these big, massive clouds. What happens is you get these thunderstorms, pretty big ones, kind of develop these clusters of thunderstorms. They kind of rise in the upper levels of the atmosphere, the clouds, and then the upper level winds will blow those cloud tops overhead. So a lot of times you'll see that as an approaching storm system's approaching you, you'll kind of sometimes, especially if they're fairly big storms, they'll kind of come in overhead. Now another thing that kind of really begins to stand out too is we have all this smoke off to the north and west. We actually saw a pyrocumulus cloud develop. You may have heard that before. What happens is the fire itself may kind of reestablish itself, build and get a little bit stronger, and you get a big puff of smoke that comes out. And also, sometimes a cumulus cloud can develop as well and kind of puff out. You'll see that here very clearly. Look at this little puff right here, right there. You see that little puff? I'm going to point my finger at it one more time, and then you can see how it kind of moves down to the south. Now, coming behind that, you'll see the plume of smoke that develops right there. That develops here as that cloud kind of moves out of the way. So kind of an interesting sight there. But we're still seeing a lot of activity here off to the north and to the west. Now, I'm not going to be covering the fires as far as the distances. I'm going to be doing that once a day with the latest update with those fire perimeters. I typically do that in the morning. And due to the upcoming weekend here, to kind of give myself a little bit of time off, I'm not going to be updating those fire perimeters and the distances over the weekend. However, if something big should happen, if a perimeter grows extensively, then that's something that will warrant me to maybe do some kind of update. So here's what I'd like you to do and recommend you to do. Go to my website. I'm going to go ahead over here to the computer here, and I'm going to go to the website. And this is something I've kind of focused on and showed you before. If you click below the live stream, which is right there, there's my latest video, there you can see the fire danger. Now click on that, and that's really, you can just explore it on your own. The first thing up the top here is, of course, watch duty. That's where you're going to get really the latest information on those fires, not to mention those fire perimeters as well. But of course, what I include in there is, of course, the distances from different communities as well. So just kind of check that out here throughout the weekend if you do want to get the latest. I will, of course, try to keep an eye on things, and if I'm not doing anything, I may post a few things about the fires if anything new should develop. But for the most part, I'm going to leave it up to you over the weekend to kind of go here to the website and go ahead and take a look at where some of those fires are. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the forecast here. And we're going to talk about the smoke because, of course, these fires are producing smoke. And you can see the most of it, as we would expect, is to the north and to the west. As we go into your Saturday morning, we're probably going to see a little bit of haze and some smoke, especially for the north end of the valley. But the bulk of the smoke is still off to the west here. Now, as we go into Saturday afternoon, again, just a haze for the valley, but most of the smoke off to the north and to the west. All right, so here's the deal. Scattered mountain thunderstorms will continue through the weekend, unfortunately. Big cool down, that is, going into next week, and below normal highs through next week as well. So certainly some great relief from the heat that we've been experiencing. Tonight, dropping down to about 70, eventually getting back up to the mid to upper 90s. Maybe some triple digit readings out there for tomorrow, but we're on the downward trend with those temperatures. Thunderstorms again tomorrow for the higher elevations, and temperatures reaching somewhere in the upper 80s, maybe even some low 90s. So the area of low pressure is now kind of centering itself down to the south and east of us, or to the south of us. So we're getting more of the rotation around the area of low pressure. But we're seeing those thunderstorms developing here this evening here, and we'll continue to see those thunderstorms through the evening as well. In fact, let's take you hour by hour, and we're going to take you through the evening, and you'll notice it kind of dies out, but there's still going to be a disturbance that'll kind of pass through to the east. So I think the eastern mountains into Modoc County, even eastern Siskiyou County, could be looking at a few scattered showers here throughout the night, but I'm not expecting anything intense as far as thunderstorms are concerned in the overnight hours. By the noon hour tomorrow, we're just beginning to see some thunderstorms pop up, and then it flares up again in the afternoon, and then as we go into Saturday night, we're going to be looking at things kind of quieting down again. There's 8 o'clock Saturday night, but you'll see another disturbance coming around the area of low pressure. That's Sunday morning at 2 a.m. So you can see the showers, maybe even some thunderstorms here. And it looks like even into the morning hours, we're seeing some showers. You'll notice the motion of these storms is doing something like this. That's because the area of low pressure is now down to our south, and we're seeing the rotation around that area of low pressure. We go into about 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon, still more thunderstorms, even the coast, seeing a chance for some showers here. And then as we go into Sunday night, we get a bit of a break. But check this out. If we zoom it down to the south and to the east, what you'll see here is all of this moisture, all of this rain. Now, this is actually going to be heading northward, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like a lot of this rain is going to really head on top of us. We'll probably get some showers out of it, maybe on the back side of it, but the bulk of this rain is pretty much going to move due north, and we just won't get much out of it. Now, that could change if it decides to shift a little bit more to the west, which would be great. It'd be nice to get a good dosing of rain here, especially over those fires, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen at this point. There is a look at Hurricane Hilary right now, Category 4 hurricane at the current moment, but as it moves northward into those colder waters, we will see it die off, should I say, weaken significantly. By the time it does make landfall, there you can see northern Baja region. It looks like kind of near the Ensenada area, you start to see it down to about a Category 1 hurricane. Look at this though. Still most likely a tropical storm in Southern California, and then a tropical depression as it heads off to our east. So it will be, of course, much weaker. But here's the overall setup for Sunday when it will be making its way into Southern California. The areas in red is where we have flooding concerns. And it's not just the floods, but it's going to be the potential for mudslides, debris flows, and that is going to be certainly a big concern here over Southern California. But like what I was saying here, most of the rain is going to scoot up to our north, and we'll get caught up in some of that flow to maybe bring some of that rain over Northern California. But unfortunately, it will most likely be on the light side as we go into Sunday, not to mention even into Monday. So let's take you into Monday, see how that kind of moves northward, and we just get some of those showers with some of that leftover moisture coming into Northern California on Monday. Now, it looks like we're still seeing, at least based on this model, some shower activity on Tuesday, but for now, I'm kind of really decreasing those chances by the time we do get into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. But look at these temperatures. I mean, this is nice. Still pretty hot for your Saturday, but look at that. By Monday, as kind of the remnants of Hilary move through, we're going to be looking at temperatures dropping down to 87 degrees in Redding. Yeah, you're reading that right. 87, 89 on Tuesday, and then it looks like we're back in the low to mid 90s for the rest of next week and even into that next weekend. So really, once we get those temperatures down, they're not going to increase a whole lot after that. So no major heat waves in the forecast at this point. All right, so here's what we have for tonight. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s for the valley, probably closer to the 60s for most of us, and it looks like in the 50s and 60s for the higher elevations. And taking a look at your forecast for tomorrow, there's the dry conditions for the valley. Still pretty hot in Redding and Red Bluff around 99, but down to the mid-90s for Chico and Orville. And there's the thunderstorms we'll see again here for Saturday afternoon. All right, let's go and take a look at your 7-day outlook. And what we're looking at here is that chance for thunderstorms, and a really good chance, especially for Saturday and Sunday here. And then Monday, Tuesday is when we'll have kind of the remnants of Hilary over us. So we could pick up some shower activity Monday, and possibly, especially for the mountains, on Tuesday before it dries out for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Let's take a look at your 7-day outlook for the valley. And I have included a chance for showers in the valley on Monday because that moisture from Hurricane Hilary will be over us at that point, and we could squeeze out a few light showers here and there. Otherwise, it does dry out for the most part by Tuesday, and especially by Wednesday, with those temperatures in the low 90s by the time we do get into Wednesday, back in the mid 90s by Thursday and Friday.